this new sketchbook is going a lot weirder than originally anticipated. Remember last week when I was like, oh, I'm probably going to have like no finished drawings. I have like 4 or 5 finished drawings planned that I need to eventually work on. And I have been treating this side, so the left side of the sketchbook, as the sketching page because the bleed is super bad. So I have like a lot of like this one is going to be finished because it just has sketches on the backside. It's hard to tell. The sketchbook's super big, so I can't like fit it all on camera. This one, so I have like a Savika sketch. I have a clown sketch thumbnail that I need to do the final sketch for. I have an Eris sketch, so my OC Eris over here. I have a plant zombie finished piece over here. I have a goddess character sketch and bunny girl Vi. And now I want to do some warm-up sketches on this side because I might as well keep it consistent, you know, like I know bunny girl Vi is not consistent, but I mean, like, I kind of want to do sketches related to the finished piece as much as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to warm up for the other plant zombie sketch that I've been kind of thinking about doing. So, hi, hey, hello. If you're new here, my name is Rain. If you're not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you stopping on by to my little corner of the internet. And I would really appreciate it if you take the time to sit all the way through to the end of this video. If you feel like getting creative alongside me, feel free to tell me about it in the comments down below at any point. I think that's it. So, I really have been in the mood for more of my plant zombies. I have no idea what I'm doing. I am not thinking this sketch through. This anatomy is super messed up. I've just been missing my plant zombies a lot recently, and I'd really like to get some sketches in of them and even a finished piece. I feel like I haven't finished a plant zombie piece in a really long time. So I'm trying to pull off something like that, but I'm not entirely sure of the pose. I'm also thinking maybe a redo of my plant zombie self-portrait because it's super outdated. My hair was a lot longer back then. And I also want to bring in more gore into these pieces. That's like hair, but we'll figure it out. Bring more gore into these pieces where like the plants are like opening the body. You know, people who are like way further along in the plant zombie process and kind of like depicting that, like someone with more intensive decay. Okay, so this is the side. This is the side of the body. Chest would be like that ish. Tummy region. That's the hip. Sorry, I don't usually do real-time recordings. Oh, why is my pencil being weird? I usually don't do real-time recordings because I talk and make weird sounds, but I don't know how much time I'll have for a voiceover this week, so we're going to vibe and hope that it works out and I don't sound too unhinged this week. So, but I think I like this as a concept. I like to think that they're very sentient and aware, even in this like rate of decay. Homegirl's kind of popping off, actually. I was having a lot of issues with this anatomy last night when I was sketching it. I don't actually think it's as bad as I was originally anticipating it to be. Maybe the shoulders are a bit broad, but I don't think it's that bad. But I think I want to bring in the shoulders, and I think I want a more curvaceous pose to it. So let's think about this. Let's follow along this line. Be good if the hips went that way then. And then let's add a bit of a flare. I don't know what we're doing with the legs there. We'll figure it out in a minute. Let's tuck the head down. Or maybe like a look up, but chin down sort of feeling. That's a massive hair, but that's fine. We all know I love an unrealistically curved shoulder. And then let's bring the chest out. I don't know what this boob is doing. We'll figure it out. Let's bring this like this. This is horrible. Okay, what are we doing here? Why is this anatomy confusing me so much? It's this hip shape, isn't it? If we were to do this, the knee could go right there. The other one can bring in. We could do something cute like that. Groin would be here-ish. Let's get the arms in here. They're something like that, maybe? That's enough of a vibe. We could live with that for now. Armpit would be up there, so the shoulder, elbow. Super long arm, but we love a good long arm in this household. Let's crack this open. Little mushrooms. Cute. Adorable. Maybe we'll leave some of the neck intact. Hair. Just use something like that for now. Maybe? That's longer than I wanted. That's fine. It'll mix with the plants regardless of what I do. Let's get the bones out. I don't know this body part very well, so we're gonna just... Well, I always wing the ribcage anyway. So it's the front part between the breast. We'll put these ribs in. Then from there, should be able to just... Usually when you have an open crevice like this in like actual like not dead people, I don't know anything about how plants grow on dead people, but like a tree, you get these kind of petalish mushrooms growing along the edges, and I think it's a good way to limit the gore by covering up the seam where it would be like actual decaying flesh, while also giving the opportunity to show like the inside structures where these vines can be growing, plants can be growing, and mushrooms are the fruiting bodies of mycorrhizae. So mushrooms only appear when it's moist and raining. They send out their little spores, and then they like keel over and die. And these spores go propagate, and then the mycorrhizae are just little tendrils in the ground, basically. And when they're ready to reproduce, so it rains, they're ready to reproduce, they become mushrooms again, and they do that process. So mushrooms would be mostly in like moist environments. So unless it like recently rained, it doesn't even really make sense to have mushrooms on the outside. They're more an aesthetic thing. This is really hard to tell what's happening. So we would really, wow, we would really need to clear up what's going on in here for a finished piece. Wow, I think actually I'm starting to make sense of the anatomy, even though it's really poorly done for the sketch. We love a good hip dip. I really wish that these were easier to sharpen. These like multi 8 pencils that I use, like I love them. They're wonderful. They're my dream pencil, but they get dull really quickly, and sometimes I just want a nicer, finer detail. It just doesn't happen. Do I want to color these in right now? Sure. I think I have my blue one open. Yeah, I do. I have 2 because I always lose one, or like I want to go somewhere and I don't really want to take both, and I want to have one at home in case like I leave it in my car or something. So, but it's very helpful because this pencil, as much as I love it, it jams pretty often on certain colors. So it helps keep me from like having my pencil jam super bad and then getting like frustrated. Because these are the 2 colors I switch between the most. I almost never use the other ones. When my blue and red lead for like these 2 run out, I'll probably go through the other colors before refilling them. But you know how it goes. Just realized the boob's kind of like vanished. There's a boob somewhere in there. Just like chilling out. Because this is the side of the body, so this is probably the side. So the boob probably actually does fall kind of in that space. And we can make this one bigger to match-ish. It would be better rendered, so it doesn't really matter. Plus, we're gonna add some shading in there, some blue just to get some illusion of me knowing what I'm doing. The groin's off center as well. Darn. Oop, there we go. Let's get this in there like that. And we want to show the tummy, because we love a tummy in this household, and a belly button. The question is do I want to add another injury, like right here? There we go. And the hip bone is right about here, right? So the hip bone and then the big bones for the leg. We'll just peek it out right around there then. If you can hear my Great Pyrenees, she's just grumpy. The post person might be driving by, or a big truck, you know. She does what she wants. We don't tell her to chill out because she's a guard dog for the horses and the chickens. So we usually just let her bark at things that she deems threats because we don't want to like punish her for barking at things, because like she's supposed to warn us when there's something bad, and, you know, she gets really embarrassed. So we're kind of worried that if we like tell her to stop barking at something, she'll like not take her job seriously, I guess. I guess I should give this girl feet. Like that, maybe? That's a horrible foot. There we go. I think I kind of saved it. It's fine. We don't care about the feet in sketches. You know, that's one thing that I've always been really, like, nervous about is, like, maybe being accused of being AI. Because I have this horrible habit. I know I draw traditionally. This is part of why I haven't done digital art basically at all recently. Because I have a horrible habit of drawing the big toe on the wrong side of the foot when I'm sketching. I'm like, that is an AI mistake. And obviously I hate AI and I'm very anti-AI image generation. So it's like, wow, if I get accused of being AI, I think I would like actually keel over and die of embarrassment and shame. Like, cannot function anymore. So, you know. That I also do that with hands a lot. I'll draw the thumb on the wrong side the first couple of times, and it'll take me a minute Like, I'll be looking at it, I'll be like, something's wrong with this sketch. I don't know what's wrong. And it's like, it's the thumb. The thumb's on the wrong side. And I have to, like, hold my hands up for a really long time. Like, so if I turn my hand this way, the thumb is outside the body. And I have to, like, really think about it. It takes a lot of brain power for me. It's really embarrassing. So, it's just great. It's just great. The more I look at her, the more she makes me uncomfortable. Okay, that's probably a good thing, all things considered. But I still don't like this sketch. I like it, but I don't think this is what I want a finished piece to look like. I want it to engage a little bit better. This looks like a pinup of my plant zombies, which is cute, but I don't really think that's what I'm in the mood for right now. These are just vines, you know, to create some, like, feeling, fill up the space. So if this was a full piece, like, the composition would be a little bit more. Actually, now that I put it in the paper shape, this could be cute, but is this what I want to do? Oh, let's think here for a minute. Let's think. Let's move over this way. The sketchbook's too big for my tiny desk. It drives me bonkers. It's okay. Do we want to do a full body piece like this? Or do we want to be more like in our face, right? Like this sort of composition. No, I gave her eyebrows. For a second I thought I did. Ooh, but I like this. I really like pieces that cut off the body. I think they call it amputation in photography, when we would add like a shadow down here for the body, and then like a little like sticking off things in the shadow, which would be hard to figure out in 2D exactly how I want, but we'd get there. It wouldn't be super bad. So there's something like that. Cute. I do really like this now that I'm like sitting in here and it's like in the paper frame. But this is usually a little bit more my vibe, and I'm bad at anatomy. I think it's easy to think that I'm less awful at anatomy than I am, but I am quite literally terrible. And I just wing it until it looks right. So let's do this type of sketch. And let's be real, like in a perfect world, everybody has like demonly long legs, because I'm really bad at not drawing super long legs. I really want one arm to be consumed by nature. That's almost better. Wait. Can we actually like get the bottom of the page in paper? Ooh, we can. Hell yeah. I always mess up these diamonds, even though I know they're supposed to be broad for like the shoulders. Like the diamond goes like that instead of like this. I almost always sketch them like this and then add the shoulders, which like kind of defeats the purpose of using this method for anatomy. But you know, if I get there eventually, it doesn't matter if I suck, right? I don't know if I'm interested when I'm sketching in real time like this. and I'm processing information actively. This shoulder is way too broad, but that's fine. We're just thinking. Like, I like doing my voiceovers because I'm able to sound intelligent and well thought. I'm not well thought out. I wing everything I say. But at least then I'm engaging you guys actively. But I'm not really good at, in my opinion, I don't think I'm really good at thinking and doing at the same time. What do we want to do with this? I also have to not hum songs that I know are copyrighted. I really do like this head angle. The looking up, innocent feeling that comes with it, and having big eyes, that's bigger than anticipated. And like an upturned brow. Because like she probably would kill you. Let's be real here. Like my plant zombies. Ooh, wait. Oh, wait. Give it some like romance. Ooh, wait. Am I cooking? Do I know what I'm doing? Do I know what I'm doing? We might be getting somewhere. Those boobs are way bigger than I wanted them to be. That's fine. Slim them down just a touch. I'm so bad at drawing boobs because, like, the sternum's big, right? Like, the sternum goes like this. I'm going to have all these sketches in here. I'm not going to remember what I was doing. The sternum's big, and then, like, the boobs sit on either side of it. And the way I draw boobs is to just follow the underline and the upturn, right? So now the swell of the breast is made like that, but I always forget to make the sternum thick when I'm actually oh, these tits are really lopsided. Whoa. This pencil doesn't erase very well. Kind of drives me a little bit nuts because I'll be like, oh, I can't tell what my sketch was. I think I want them a bit more down. See, now that the sternum's thicker, like, the boobs look more normally spaced, you know? And then, I know, like, some people just draw a straight line, and some people do a really harsh curve, but I want a little bit of pudge in here. Not a lot. Just enough to like make the vines have something to curve around the squishier. Because like up here, it's okay. But to thicken this up a bit more, then the vines have a more fun path to trail, and I can accentuate these curves a little bit better with a like squishier body type. And I feel like that sounds fun. I feel like I'm in the mood for that. Nothing too much at the moment though. I do want to draw like an entire spread of like squishy plant zombies. Like super squishy plant zombies, but I want to do a full sketch page of them before I settle on a finished one. Ooh, I think the boobs are off from where I want them to be. Yeah. Because I want the boob to be, so if you think about the angle, right? If the shoulder's here, it'll come down like this. So, like, see now the anatomy looks really awful. Like the boob needs to come in like this. And like, yeah, from the side angle, the boob is going to be covered by the arm a lot. But I was not accounting for it anywhere near as much as I should have been. Okay, the anatomy might just be screwed on this one, and I didn't realize it until now. Whoa. Now this should be the side of the body. Maybe what I need to do is this. I need to pull this out more. head's obviously a bit too small, which is alrighty. We'll make those eyes absolutely alien and massive for a second. It's fine. We're trying to make the anatomy work. This is why you should sketch your anatomy before drawing the head. But I almost always just mess up. Maybe that's why I draw eyes so big. I like subconsciously am accounting for the fact that 50% of the time my anatomy is so screwed that you have to like quadruple the size of the eyes for the head to look normal. Okay, look, if she was an amputee, she'd be like popping off anatomy wise. But she's not currently. I do want an amputated arm, but if I do this one, the one that's causing me issues right now, one, I'm cheating my way through life. Two, it doesn't fix the fact that her body needs to be curved more this way, and that her chest isn't like accounted for. So we're gonna just move over here and retry. Now that I know what I want a little bit better though, I can like put my center line way more this way. You know, like the center line, I put it here when I drew the breast. The center line should have been like this the whole time so that the side of the body could be like bigger. I'm making all of these notes in the same color. The center line should have been like way over here so that the chest had the center line right here, and then the body like all moved out so that we could have this sort of anatomy. So yeah, okay, I think that's good. I think I can follow that pretty well. Yeah, those boobs look like they're facing the right direction better. Okay. See here. We're just gonna like vanish down that way, because if we want this to be the stomach, we can do the groin line right there like that, right? A lot of hip dip because we think they're cute and hot. The groin line's like down there. It's like the groin's like probably about here. Oh, you can't see that. The groin's like probably about here-ish. Like very bottom of the screen. We're gonna go like that. This is definitely better. The boob needs to like go off the body. It is not flat like that. And then the shoulder falls somewhere around here. So now if this arm is the amputated arm, it isn't overlapping with the body as a way to hide horrible mistakes. I didn't think about the head. I was gonna go up too far, but that's fine. Yeah, I want the shoulder right there. To the person in my DMs, I won't out you by name if you don't want to be, that said that they really like when I talk real time and add it into my videos. Was this what you was me rambling like a dummy like this what you meant? Okay, the neck is a bit long, but she's soft, so it's actually maybe okay, because what if we soften up our shoulders all together a bit more? I really like drawing collarbones. That's why I don't draw a lot of squishy people, is like the collarbone vanishes a bit, and I like to like draw collarbones like our skeleton is trying to leave our flesh. And I feel like I'm being disingenuous to the body type when I draw like a huge collarbone on it. Let's put another crack in the head. I really like that from earlier. From that sketch right there. Let's just add the circles in. And let's get rid of the harshity of that line. Oh, if I do like enough of a pooch, the vine can run under it. That's cute. That's super cute. And then there could be little flowers peeking out. Oh. Oh, that's adorable. I like this idea. Your chin does not exist, ma'am. I am so sorry. There we go. There's something for now. Obviously, finished sketch would be... I don't know. I'd at least think about the chin in the finished sketch. You can also have them run under and then like between the breast. Then give little vine flowers. Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere with this. Now the question is, do I want this cut? This like partial body? Or do I want a full body with the squishier anatomy? And additionally, do I feel like drawing legs, which is probably my weak point? Who knows? This line will make it look nicer. Yeah, I love this line. I love this line right here that you can add to the body before, like when you break up the body like this. I love the ribcage line. Like, I find it so attractive to add to my sketches and my finished pieces. The belly button's all centered, isn't it? Yes, a little bit off centered. That's fine. I know, Pepper. I know. The belly button being off center is actually criminal. It is not fine. I should have never said such a thing. How dare I? The shoulders being soft, I kind of like. We'll put big nipples there. There we go. Maybe the brush should be a bit bigger based on the body size. Or to be this low based on the body size is what I was like mentally saying. Like maybe if they're like this size, they should probably be up a bit more, but I'm not sure. Like for now, like there's a lot of space here for them to not have a lot of meat to them, which is fine. However, anatomy-wise, it would make more sense to put it up here just so that it looks a little more natural. If your breasts do this, that's cool. But we all know that people are not nice on the internet. And it might make it a little more clear. That was something I got critiqued for when trying to get an art job in that interview I've talked about a couple of times. I contacted the artist for that company. I got hooked up with them to talk for a bit. And he basically said that I'm really good at the abstract, but clarity is lacking for me. Like my sketches lack the ability to really tell what's going on. My art, like my finished art, like it's hard to understand what's happening, and therefore it's bad for me as an artist wanting to work in the industry because no one wants to hire someone who isn't like good at offering that clarity, because it's important for video games and things like that for people to be able to see and understand what's happening, you know? Which I get that. So I really do want to think a little bit more when I'm working on my complex plant zombie sketches. I do want to think, like, can I make this a little bit easier to read for people who don't watch my videos to understand what's happening? You know what, shortening that shoulder does make more sense because it's turned away from us. So we're like, if we were to draw like a box in perspective a little bit, the body should be a little bit more like this, where this is the neck, and like this is the breast, and this is the shoulder. So this breast also should probably like be more full in that direction, but I'll figure that out. We're thinking through ideas right now. I don't need to be smart in this exact minute. Plus, the goal is I have work in 5 minutes, so the goal is I'm gonna come back to the sketch later today. This is my warm-up page for the day. And I'm going to then do my thumbnail for the finished piece and sketch based on this, so that I have had time to like look at the sketch and think, okay, what's really glaringly wrong? What do I need to change? That's something I really need to do as an artist. I'm someone who, if I just like do the sketch immediately, it'll have a ton of anatomy mistakes because I really need to sit and think. I need to step away and come back with a completely, I'm going to add nipples so I remember what this was for, because they kind of look like lungs. I need to like step away and really think about the anatomy and all of that. I think I want to do both of these sketches. I can't make decisions and I can't stay on one topic at the same time because I'm distracted. I'm easily distracted. But if I step away and then I come back to my sketches, I can identify glaring issues and it, you know, makes the piece look better. If I were to just like jump into this sketch like over here on this page and start rendering it now, everything would be so screwed. Like, it would be super screwed. Her hairline is super bad and she has no forehead. But that's fine. Like, her forehead should be like right up here because she's basically being eaten by plants, and this is just like placeholder hair and textures so that I remember to, you know, finish it. So I think these are some pretty solid sketches. These two, we'll number them. I think 1 and 2 are pretty solid sketches, and I can definitely make a good piece out of them. I do like the thumbnail over here, so we'll make that 3. Like, I would want to do this one day, but I don't know if that's what I feel like doing today, you know, like starting and working on and rendering this week. So I'm going to think about these two. I might do this one later so that I can study anatomy at this angle a bit more and do specific plants. I'm not sure, because I might want to do a very specific plant theme for this sketch, but I have to think about it. I'm going to think about it while I'm at work. I'm going to do work right here, but you know, meeting my students and all of that. And I will see you all future me in the video to work on the sketch. I don't know if I'll render it this week, just because this video is already 38 minutes-ish probably of me rambling, maybe 40 minutes of me rambling, so we'll see, but that is for future me to decide. So talk to you in video instantly. I really don't know why I bother like planning my videos at this point, because I always go immediately against whatever I say or think I'm going to do. So instead of future me live sketching this sketch, I remembered that I needed a reference, and I used my phone for references. So I couldn't record because I record with my phone. And I'm weird. I've talked about it a couple times, but like for some reason when there's like my references pulled up on my computer, I get like really disjointed. I really like my reference to be on the sketchbook or on the table directly next to my sketch, so I can immediately kind of like trace my eye over my reference, and then like kind of going over to my paper and that for poses and anatomy. I need to like have it immediately. That's why life drawing was always so hard for me. In my life drawing class, like I just like could not one-to-one it when the models were like on my computer, right? Because I did everything online. So for the pose, I really needed my reference to be right next to it. So I didn't record that, and I did it while at work, so it wouldn't have worked out anyway. And then I was like, oh, well, I'll just like quickly go over the skin, talk about my skin rendering process a little bit. It'll be cool, right? And it came time to call my partner for the night. and he passed out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just like work on the skin a little bit more, and then I'll like be good to go. I'll have just rendered the skin. Long story short, after all of this clip that I go over until I think about the video hits about an hour, all of this was before my partner went to bed. And then I was like, oh, I'll only work for another minute or two. And then next thing I knew, it was 12:30 a.m. And I had done way more than just the skin. And I just came out of this mystical art daze, like, where am I? Who am I? What is my name? And what language do I speak? Like, I was gone. So this just like, this was just an experience, okay? Like, I really didn't expect to, like, make a lot of progress on this sketch, and I was gonna probably just, like, do the skin and then finish it in next week's video. Now it's, like, 75% done, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to approach publishing and sharing the finished piece. Yeah. So I'm gonna go over that real time after this voiceover where I talk about the skin a little bit and the design decisions that I ended up changing. And yes, I know my hand is in the way for like basically all of this. It was a trust me bro moment, and I didn't realize how stupid it looked until I put it into DaVinci and was like, oh, this is really stupid. But it does show the skin rendering, not super close, but that doesn't matter because my skin rendering process isn't actually like intelligent in any capacity, and I really don't know what I'm doing. So you don't really need to see what I'm doing for me to explain that I don't know what I'm doing. But basically, I wanted to talk about the design decisions first. Why did I add the thighs? Because my reference had the thighs, and I sketched way too high up on the paper. That was literally it. I considered cropping it, but I think that it's okay. Like, I really considered like cropping it out and making it not much of an issue. Maybe like just doodling down there and like cutting it off randomly, but I just extended it to the bottom of the page for the sake of it, sketched around it, and I just thought maybe I won't render it, and so it's all good. But it kind of just happened, and I kept going, and it kept not disappearing. Like, I kept rendering it and like actually investing energy into from the groin down and like caring about it, so it ended up staying in the final piece. It does make the legs look a little dorky because I had originally intended for them to like not matter much. So when it actually got to the point where I was rendering it, I kind of realized now that I kind of made the legs a little slim where it cuts off at the bottom of the page for the knees, for how like thick and voluptuous her thighs are. So that's kind of oops moment. But I do intend to shave down the back thigh a little bit, which will proportion out how thin the knees kind of are, like looking like they're going to be. And I intend to do that by adding a bit more of the background and adding some more plants coming off of it, so the skin is like, the extra skin is just kind of like, I don't know, like it's just gonna like disappear. Like the background, I'm gonna just like cut it off a little bit, you know, slim it up with like a paint pen or probably a watercolor background. Actually, I'm kind of feeling that for some reason, don't know why. Might ruin the whole thing and do a watercolor wash. We'll see if I ruin my life later, but like I don't know. I am future me right now, and I do not know what future me is going to decide. Like I might go on a villain arc and just throw everything away. Who knows? So that's kind of where we're at with the knees. And the front facing thigh can be extra thick because her body's turned away. We're not just seeing the front of the thigh, we're also seeing kind of the butt a little bit, and then like the actual side of the leg. So that one being extra thick kind of makes sense. You know, the taper kind of works out. I might add just a little bit of a divot so that it looks like maybe the calf is bending and it shows an indication that we're looking at the side of the leg a little bit more. but I'm not sure, and I'm not really sure that I care. I feel like as artists, we're kind of reminded or poked and prodded about being good with anatomy and really just like you need to do it really well. But this is just one of those situations, and there are a lot of situations where I'm drawing where I'm like, I don't care. Like, the anatomy is good enough, and I like the way it looks. And I might just take the creative liberty and say, it literally doesn't matter. Like, we can have as much fun with shape language as we want, and it really doesn't matter if she has massive thighs and kind of tiny knees. It can be stylistic, and that's fine. And it's not something that I really care about, right? Like, I like the anatomy that is currently visible. The implied anatomy is kind of irrelevant to me. Also, I provided a censor bar because I really actually considered making an NSFW and an SFW version of this piece, but past me, last night me, delirious, sleep deprived me, gave her moss pubes, so it censored later, but the sketch was a little bit more graphic, and I don't want YouTube yelling at me. Like, I know it's artistic nudity, but I don't really know the boundary between artistic nudity and NSFW on YouTube, and I don't really want to mess with it. Like, the boobs being out is like, that's just artistic nudity, because like nothing's happening with them. But when you get down to graphics down there and it's not like a still life, I don't trust YouTube to get that it's just artistic and not like for some sort of erotic purpose, right? And I don't feel like messing with it. Also, I kind of like the little like double-sided tape flower censor bar. Like, it's kind of cute and I kind of like it and I want to use it more. So it works out in that capacity as well. But as for the actual skin rendering process, I really did just take a good chunk of similar-ish toned Ohuhu markers. Like, I tried to mostly use E's. I did use a YR or two. And then blue grays, blues, and light violets. That's usually my go-to. But I also chose a really vibrant orange. And I chose that vibrant orange because I wanted to bring out a very kind of warm and unnatural feeling to the skin. Now, orange, I kind of treat orange and yellow as pretty similar colors in my head. Like, they're right next to each other on the color wheel, but of the colors on the color wheel, orange and yellow for me feel probably like the most similar of the distinctive colors. And I mess around with yellow oranges a lot more than I do like a harsh orange, or no, actually I think I use straight up yellows a lot more than I use a harsh orange. But I wanted to bring out this vibrant orange right out the gate because I have plans. I have skin rendering plans. Like, past me was cooking. I don't really know what cooking means, but I think I was cooking. But I always use a purple shade. I really like a purple for my shadow color, even if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense with the lighting. I'm going to shade the skin with purple, and then I'm going to overlay whatever alternative lighting is there over that purple shaded thing, right? It's just my go-to. I like the way it looks. It is something that is kind of innate to my approach to rendering, right? So I'm adding these vibrant oranges on the opposite sides of where I'm putting the kind of like light purple shadows, like the initial shadowing process, because I want to add in greens to her skin hue later. So I talked about making it gory earlier in the video and adding a bit more right, to the pieces and making them more zombie and decayed like. Now, good plan. Definitely an issue for future me to bridge, but I decided I wanted the inside to look supernatural. Supernatural is not the right word. Abnormal, abstract, icky. I don't know. I wanted it to look more like looking at a thin slice of a plant under a microscope, right? I wanted it to look kind of green and yellow and vibrant, like cellulose, right? And so in doing that, I also wanted to add green to her skin to kind of imply that not all of her blood is like blood, right? I wanted to imply that there are planty things happening underneath the surface, and this is a mix and a mingle between human and plant, right? And so adding those green hues under her skin, it was going to start to look like a bruise, which I love, right? We're a plant zombie, and plant zombies are human corpses consumed and taken over by plants, right? Like they didn't just kind of like, they're not born like this. This is a kind of like second chance at life process, right? Because this is supposed to be a metaphor for chronic illness and kind of the parasitic quality to a chronic illness over the body, the bruising kind of quality to the skin that I wanted to eventually render in really kind of made sense for having lingerings of the past. And I don't necessarily know that things would unbruise eventually, right? Like once you've been consumed by the plant, do those necessary healing properties actually occur? If the skin is open to reveal the plant cellular structure underneath, does the plant just kind of take over the injured regions and do planty things as opposed to the normal human healing process, right? Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. I have to think about it more. I'm not good at lore, guys. But I really wanted to create that bruised quality, and adding in that yellowy orange kind of accentuated the extreme bruise feeling, right? But it also had this kind of nice flesh, vibrant feeling that was a little bit more supernatural. I keep going to that word. That's not the word I want. But it had a more whimsical feeling to it that I really liked, and I felt like it was appealing for the overall kind of goal, you know, to create this vibrant, warm, planty feeling to the dead skin. I know that I'm really torn between having them look jaundiced and like totally over existence, sickly pale, like basically a vampire with plants, and having them look full of life and having the kind of chronic illness not be entirely visible in the normal human looking components. I know that sounds weird and abnormal to the discussion, but when you look at the parts that aren't open flesh wounds of the plant, I kind of almost want the skin to look kind of like full of life and normal, because then it creates that juxtaposition between visible illnesses, chronic illnesses, and not necessarily looking sick, and therefore people not taking you seriously or discrediting how sick you actually are, or people kind of just assuming that you're lying about the severity of your illness, right? And so to an extent, I want to have those like kind of warmth, full of life feeling regions, but also having the torn open cellular planty parts, the open wounds, the plant pubes, the plants growing out of the arm, the broken arm region, right? Plants growing out of everywhere, like the natural world taking over, being kind of parasitic to the body the way that a chronic illness is parasitic to the body, and you may look normal, but it completely consumes you over time, and it becomes such a predominant component of your life, no matter how normal you act and how normal you portray yourself, that even if other people can't see it, you feel it in every decision that you make, right? At least for me, with a chronic illness that basically never stops having an impact. It's an incurable neurological kind of failure, effectively, and I will be in constant pain for the rest of my life. Like, I'll never know what it's like to not be in extreme pain and then dictate my life decisions around minimizing that pain, right? And so for me, I want it to be something where it looks healthy, it looks like a normal human, and then is completely consumed by this parasitic plant entity that is represented in the physical form, right? Like, that's what I want from my plant zombies, is I want to take what the real experience feels like and make it a visible application so that people can look at it, they can see it, and I can explain it as this is what it feels like. This is like how I envision my alternate existence, right? And this character definitely is not me, because my thighs are not that nice, okay? Like, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I wanted to eventually redo my plant zombie Sona. This ain't it. Those thighs are too fine, okay? I can't even dream, okay? Those thighs are immaculate, okay? Which is why I don't want to do anything with the knees or worry about it, because, like, they're too good, okay? Let's just love them, accept them. They're beautiful thighs, okay? Like, this is why I love drawing people. Like, I just get to be like, oh, wow, look at these wonderfully squishy, warm thighs that I absolutely get to create whenever I want, however I want, and nobody can stop me. Like, I have full control over what I draw, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We artists have so much wonderful power, and I love it. So, one thing that I don't think I necessarily actually kind of work on as much as I would like to or have completed yet, because I started filling in the plants a little bit to get a better idea of the coloring. I do want the tummy pouch thingy to blend a little bit softer towards the groin region. Like, I want that line to be a little bit less harsh. But I was also accounting for the fact that I had to find some form of sensor that I was going to utilize for the safe for work version of the piece. And so I wasn't entirely sure, and I didn't have anything set up. And I'm somebody who doesn't believe in you can't undo markers, because I use paint pens. Like, I can cover over that in a lighter paint pen and blend it out, which is something else that didn't get depicted. But another part of my skin rendering process, aside from throwing random colors at the wall and hoping it works out for me, is when I do lay down paint pen, aside from hatching, I always lay down a super, like, thick puddle of it, and then I smear my finger across so that the marker can still show through, which is why I put so much rendering care into my marker base layer, even though it's not remotely what the end piece is supposed to look like. I want that base layer to be super kind of well thought out before I start laying down paint pens for everything, and that is so that I can smear it around and mess with the paint pen from a, like, physical level and have the marker show through more effectively, right? So that's just a kind of an important component that I didn't get to before I, was starting my nighttime routine, and then everything went out the window. Yippee me. Like, I'm so tired. I am so tired, but it is Friday, and this video goes live at 9 tomorrow, so I have to finish it. I am so tired. But we're almost there, and I am going to nap my entire afternoon away once I'm done with work. So that's going to be great, but totally worth it. Like, not worth it, but worth it. Like, I obviously know that having chronic fatigue syndrome on top of my condition, like, not sleeping is literally one of the worst things I can physically do for my health, right? So, like, not worth it, but, like, I'm really liking how this piece is turning out, and you'll see in literally just a moment, just, like, it's looking really, really good, okay? So, worth but not worth. So, me literally just now finished my voiceover, promised that I would be explaining this a little bit, but I honestly still do not know what I'm doing or where I'm at, but this is just going to be a brief overview. Sorry, I realized I sketched in this leaf and that I really want it to exist, so it has to be here. So that's fine. So now that that's there, I will know to render it, but otherwise I will forget. So basically what's happening right now is, aside from being sleep deprived and very, very much not enjoying the experience, I have made a lot of creative decisions, and I have moderately rendered a lot of it. Nothing is finished, but I have moderately rendered a lot. So I mentioned that I wanted to cut down on the thigh a fair bit. I think this pencil has no lead. Oh, it has lead. What? No, I don't want lead. There we go. So I cut down on the thigh a fair bit. Now you can see the sketch was pretty thick right here. So I just slimmed down a lot of that line right here, right? Gone, evaporated, vanished. So that slimmed this thigh down to make the knee feel a little bit more accurate. And once again, if we follow the body, right, like, I realize my hand's in the way, but because of, like, I'm working on this side of the sketchbook, putting you here puts you on uneven ground, and then you go jostling. But so basically, if you look at it, we're working with my left hand. This is a horrible idea. But basically, this is her side, right? So it'll follow down about here. I can't do this. It'll follow down about here. So like this entire chunk of the thigh right here is like the side / butt region. Like I could have probably like shown the divot of the butt overlapping the thigh a bit better. Oh, I'm actually producing pencil even though there's not supposed to be any. That's wonderful. But that's not the problem. But it's fine. The pubes, adorable. Okay, like the weirdest thing I'll say for a minute. Adorable. Okay, I'm gonna add some cute little white flowers in there, in here, and in here more. I'm thinking about adding them up here, but I also want diversity in it. This paint pen right here, this lime green one, it's causing me so much heartache, but like this color is this. I need a lot more of it, okay? Like this is adorable. I don't know what's going on, but this little light green thing is just speaking to me in so many different languages, and I love it. It's cute. I love these little yellow specks. Perfect. The vines over here don't make sense. Like, don't look at it. It will never make sense. I'm doing my best to make sure the overlaying, like, stays consistent, but it's a nightmare. I'm thinking what I'll do is I will fill in this white region for these flowers. I have not decided what color I actually want them to be, but the yellow is important enough, and I want it for an underlay, so it's cool. I'm going to fill it in, and then I'm thinking of adding a, like, maroon background. A very light one, kind of carelessly placed in to fill in all of these little white areas I don't want to care about, so that it kind of overpowers the red. This stupid pencil. So it kind of overpowers the red, and it's easier to neutralize it in an editing software because I really didn't follow my sketch a lot. But if I decrease the saturation of the red, everything's going to hell because this is a very red undertoned character. Like, there's a lot of reds in here and peachy colors because I like a really good flushed face. Like, flush is great. And then the girlies are also really red. So I don't want this to go away. So if I do a maroon background, it'll complement the red by being an off color and maybe like a muted maroon. And it'll help cover this up and make it look more like an intentional detail and not me being inconsistent and never following my own plan. So that will hopefully help. I'll probably draw the vines that are in the skin that are super obvious, or do hatching in skin tones over it, but I'm not sure. But as you could see, where I was talking about adding that green shadow, it's looking really nice. I really like the effect that this is having on the skin in the regions, especially around the open wound where the moss is. And the bones are not supposed to make sense. Like, obviously, whatever this is doesn't exist in the real human body. It is supposed to be confusing. It's supposed to not feel right or natural or super normal, right? Like, the body is in disarray. And that's what I really like about these cutouts that I did end up deciding to include. So ultimately, this is like 75% done. Obviously, the face is not finished rendering. I haven't added eyelashes. I haven't finished making the nose pop the way I like it to. Her eyeliner is still the red under pencil basically entirely. So that's like a huge ugh. Belly button's looking a little funky still. Not sure what to do about that. But from here mostly is fixing up the face, fixing up these mushrooms so they look normal, and then adding more light greens and dark greens to the moss region to create a better sense of depth, and then adding cute little flowers because they make me happy. And then some sort of background to fix the problem that is the red. Other than that, I think I'm done for now this week. I might touch this again tomorrow, but for now I want to, well, I have a student in a moment, but I would like to sleep my life away. So basically, I'm very happy with how this is turning out. It's going way better than I anticipated. I didn't expect my first plant zombie back after doing a lot of mushroom girlies to go this well. So very happy with how she's looking. She's absolutely adorable. And I definitely want to draw her more. Like, I very much like everything she has going on. So, with that being said, I think it is time to say that you should like this video if you like it, dislike if you dislike, subscribe if you would like to see more of my content, share this video with anybody who you think would be interested in plant zombies and my middle of the night crisis. Additionally, comment if you have anything you want to say, any opinions about the piece, any critiques that you have that you would like to share. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, wherever you are. And with all of this being said, bye-bye.